4 days until Halloween. You know, it's cold outside. So what would be more perfect than to make caldo, which is Spanish for soup? If y'all want to, put on your best costumes and show them to me in your comments. Let's have fun with this. Well, who can cook like this? Let me get changed and we'll get started. Come on. Hey y'all, I'm back. Today I'm going to be making caldo with pork. I'm going to be adding some mixed vegetables, some cauliflower, and some diced potatoes. And then some conchas, which are the little shell pastas. I am fixing to dice up this pork here. I'm going to trim off some of the fat and dice it up into cubes. I'm going to do mine kind of small. You can do them bigger if you want to, but I got gloves on because I don't like to touch raw meat. But now, I'm going to start dicing up my potatoes and my pork. Caldo is soup. You can add anything to soup. There's like a million different recipes for it. It's great for cold days when you're sick. It's a hearty meal, and you know, it's good for you. Well, depending on what you put in it. But let's go ahead and get started on dicing everything up. Okay, now I'm going to trim the fat off of this pork here, and this is just like a pork steak. You can use pork chops, you can use any other kind of meat if you don't like pork. You can use beef, chicken, which is good to make like homemade chicken soup, or you can add corn on the cob to it. You know, cut the corn cobs in half and throw them in with your soup. And you can use frozen vegetables, which is what I'm going to do, or you can dice up your own fresh vegetables. Using frozen is just quicker. And I've had this meat thawing out in the fridge since yesterday, and it's still firm enough that I can cut it without it getting all gooey and nasty. I don't like all this fat myself, but some people do, and fat does add flavor, you know. And if you sear it up and give it a good crisp, and it tastes pretty good. Kind of like chicharrones, which is just fried pork skins. Now, I never said I was a butcher, but you know, you can do what works for you, what's easiest for you. And I like to wash it a little bit after I cut it up, because you never know if you get bone slivers in it. And I'm going to save this bone here, and I'm going to sear it up with my meat when I sear it, and leave it in the soup and stuff so that it gives it a little extra flavor. Okay, now I've washed my meat. Now I'm going to cut it into little chunks. And when I say wash your meat, I don't mean with soap. I just mean with just regular water. You know, some people can misunderstand sometimes. I frankly don't want soap on my food, but I mean, whatever floats your boat, right? Now I'm just going to cut these into cubes. I don't like them real big because, you know, I just like small pieces of meat. If you're trying to chew on a big chunk of meat, it's kind of hard to do sometimes if you ain't got good teeth. And guys, this is so simple. Soup is one of the simplest things to make. And one of these days, I'm going to show y'all how to make some egg drop soup, which is literally just chicken broth and eggs. And you can add corn or, you know, different vegetables if you want to. You can add meat to it if you want to. But that literally takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. But these are just quick, simple meals that you can make real fast, and it's always going to taste good, unless you just don't know how to mix your seasonings well. And that's okay if you don't. That's what these little videos are for, is to help you learn. You know, I'm gonna say it again, I'm not a chef, but I know what I like, and I know what tastes good. And guys, be real careful when you're using knives and stuff. You don't want to stab yourself or cut a finger off. Because then if you cut a finger off, then you'd be having people tell you, instead of, give me 5, give me 4. Or give me 3.5, you know. Guys, this soup right here will warm you to the bone. It'll make your heart feel good. Not like in health-wise or nothing, but like, you know, just genuine love. And seeing all them happy faces while you're cooking, ain't nothing better. Okay, now I have washed and sanitized my board and my knife. I'm going to dice up some potatoes. And you can dice them however you want to. You can make them big, you can make them small. You can do slices. Just whatever tickles your fancy. I like mine kind of small too, because you know, when you want to take a bite of something, you want to get a little bit of everything in your mouth. And I'm just doing 3 potatoes. You can do more if you're going to cook for a bunch of people. But right now it's just 2 of us here, so, and this soup was probably going to last us a few days. And you can freeze it, guys. If you make a whole bunch and it don't get ate up at that one time, you can freeze it in an airtight container and have it for another day. Guys, I'm just so excited for Halloween. I love looking at all the costumes. People get creative. And you know, if nobody comes over, that's just more candy for us. But I know people will be over. We usually get quite a bit of little kiddos coming by. Alright, I got my potatoes cut up. I'm going to dice up a little bit of onion. You don't have to put onion in it if you don't want to. I like a little bit in there. Saute it up with the meat. Now everybody dices differently and everybody's got their own techniques. Some people say there's a right way. I say there ain't no right way. Every way's a right way. However you know how to do it, whatever's easiest for you, you do you, boo-boo. Look, see, didn't take no time at all. Now, fixing to turn my pot on, get some oil in it so we can start searing our meat. Gotta let it get good and hot. And get her done. Okay guys, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan, just enough to cover the bottom because I don't want my meat to stick. Let this get hot and before it starts smoking a little bit. I got my temperature on about 5, in between 5 and 6, because I want it to cook kind of fast so it'll sear it up. Give it some brown pieces in there, and then we're going to throw the onion in there, and then our potatoes, and we're just going to just dump it all in a pot and just let it do its thing. Okay guys, I'm fixing to throw the pork into this pan, or this pot. The oil is nice and hot, so it's probably going to splash. Might get a little loud with the sizzling, so just bear with me, okay? I don't know if you can see it. See it steaming? You want to just let it brown, get nice and crispy. You don't have to. Some people like to just boil it. But I like a little brown to my meat. Adds a little extra flavor. So I'm going to let that brown for a minute. And we'll do it too. As soon as it gets brown and stuff though, I'm going to start adding my seasonings. And then after we add everything else to it, we'll let it simmer. Probably about maybe 20 to 30 minutes. That way, just making sure the vegetables get nice and soft, you know. It's already getting brown. Like I said, you can even use hamburger meat for this. You don't have to use pork and all the big hearty meats. You can use hamburger meat and throw some peas and stuff in there. It's just as good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start adding my onions so they can saute with this here meat. I just throw them all in there with my hands. My hands are clean, I've washed them. by the time these saute and stuff, they're gonna be nice and translucent, so you won't really see them in there. But you won't know they're in there because it's gonna be some delicious flavor going on. And once you get your meat nice and brown and your onion starts to get like invisible, then you can throw all your stuff in there, and you can turn your heat down a little bit. That way it'll start simmering. And you can add however much water you want to, just depending on how many people you're going to feed. If you want to make a lot of soup, then you add a lot of stuff to it. And if you don't, then just add a little bit of everything. There is no rule on how to make caldo. And I like to leave the bones in there. Sometimes you can pull them out before you serve people, but I like to leave the bones because, you know, they're cut up, so when they cook for a while, then the marrow starts coming out from the bone and adds even more flavor to it. Kind of like making bone broth. Just boil a bunch of bones together, make your own bone broth. It's healthy for you. Okay, my meat's nice and seared now. I'll turn my heat down. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. Just so I can get them little bits off the bottom of the pan. And guys, you can add rice to this if you want to. Okay, now I'm going to add my potatoes. Okay. And I forgot to tell you, I'm going to add some minced garlic to it. And you can buy the minced garlic already container up for you. If you don't trust it, you can slice your own or mince your own garlic. Now, I got the potatoes in there. I'm going to start adding my seasonings. We got Caldo de tomate, which is tomato bouillon with chicken flavor. And guys, you won't have to add a lot of salt because this has plenty of salt in it. And I told you before, I don't measure, I just do it to taste. You can add more after you taste it later on. I'm going to add a sazon. This right here is great stuff, guys. Now you can add a can of tomato sauce if you want to. You don't have to. I didn't want to on this particular time, but I did add the bouillon flavor, so it'll give a little bit of flavor. I'm going to add some dried oregano. And that's probably about a tablespoon worth. I'm going to add some black pepper. And I'm going to add some comino, which is ground cumin. I just used the rest of that, but I got another one in the pantry. I'm going to add a couple of bay leaves. You don't have to add these if you don't want to. I do, just because I see people do it on TV all the time. I don't know what a leaf does for it, but obviously it does something, right? So I'm going to add 2 of them little boogers. I'm going to add some granulated onion powder, just to give a little extra onion flavor. And I'm going to also add a little bit of granulated garlic. Just a little bit, because I already got garlic in there. And garlic can be strong. Now, I'm going to add my cauliflower pieces. I don't know if you can see it right. Like I said, you're going to add anything to this. You can't go wrong. Now I'm going to add some mixed frozen vegetables. Probably about half a bag. I'm not going to add the whole thing, because I already got a lot of stuff in here. I'm going to go ahead and add some more water to it. And I also have my little tiny seashell pastas. You can add the little ones or you can add the big ones, don't matter. Just whatever your preference is. Might be a little bit more water for this here. Beautiful. But I'm not going to add the pasta until a lot of this is simmered some, because you don't want your pasta to get soggy. But look at this, guys. I forgot to add my garlic. You see that beauty? Looky there. Yummy. Now let me get a spoon so I can add my garlic. I thought I had it in there. I didn't have it in there yet. But it's okay. Probably going to add about a tablespoon worth. Clean my area up. I don't like to work in a dirty kitchen. Now, we're going to let this here simmer till all the flavors meld together. And once it does, we are going to add the pasta. Let it cook a few more minutes, because the heat will keep cooking it after you turn it off. So, see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, guys, let's check it out. Look at that. It's at a rolling boil. I think it's probably done, because I've been letting it simmer. And I've already added my pasta. Now you don't have to add pasta to it, because it's got potatoes in it, so that's a starch, and pasta is another starch. I know that's 2 starches. I know. It's not good for you, but that's how we like it, you know. You work with what you got in your pantry, in your refrigerator. You want to clean your refrigerator out? Just throw whatever you got into a pot. It's going to turn out delicious, I'm telling you. Now, I'm going to turn my heat off. And guys, this is very hot. I'm going to give it a little taste here. And you want to be sure and take out them 2 little leaves, because those aren't good to eat on. Somebody might choke on them. I mean, they're alright if you want to put them in a blender or something, you know, or crush them up real fine. It'd be alright like that, but just eating them whole like that, somebody's going to choke on them. So this is really hot, so I'm just going to taste the juice, okay? Because I know the vegetables and stuff are going to singe my rear end. She's ready. I'll put some juice in here. And this is going to be a nice hearty dish on this cold winter day. You can check it out, see it's steaming. And you can eat crackers with this. You can heat up corn tortillas and roll them up and dip them in there. You can add your little lemon juice and some cilantro. Some extra onion if you want to. You can heat up flour tortillas if you want to. Just whatever, everything goes with it. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I love you guys. Remember, you're smart, you're beautiful, and you're everything that God made you to be. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You love yourself. If you don't love yourself, can't nobody else love you. So, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. God bless you.